Hey guys, back again with another review, this time Wishmaster 3 Beyond the Gates of Hell from 2001, directed by Chris Angel, and writers were Peter Atkins and Alex Wright. Now, before I get started, I have to admit this movie is very disappointing. It's nothing like the other two. Well, it is, to be honest, because it's got a djinn in it who's making wishes and all this stuff. But it just hasn't got the fun factor that the other ones did. Plus, they changed the whole meaning again. Like in the first movie, the three wishes got the djinn out and they could rule the world. In number two, they had to do 1,001 wishes or something plus her three wishes. Now in this, it's her three wishes again. So like, what's going on with these djinn? So this one doesn't star the original djinn, Alex Diroff, I think it was. It stars Jason Connery as Professor Joel Borash, AJ Cook as Diana Collins, Tobias Mailer as Greg, and St. Michael the Archangel. Yes. Lizette Gates plays Katie York, Aaron Smolensky plays Billy Matthews, Daniela Evangelistli plays Anne, and Emmanuel Roger plays Eleanor Smith, and John Novak plays the Djinn. So basically, the movie starts and we've got a student in a college. Yeah, this film's set at college. So basically, the first one was a lot of fun. The second one was basically set in prison for half the movie, and this one's set in college. So we're there and she's a promising student. You meet some of her friends who don't really matter. And basically she finds a box which she gets her professor to look at. And they open it. And she basically rubs the ruby and this thing happens. And she leaves and then all of a sudden the professor comes in and the djinn goes, "Hello, Professor." And he's got a different voice. And he looks different. But I have to admit, I do like the djinn. I just feel like we don't see a lot of the djinn. We see more of Jason Connery as the djinn in the human form, which I didn't like. Because it's just so boring. So he basically meets the djinn and the djinn says, "Wish for anything you like." And he goes, "I want the two hottest women that I fancy to come and have sex with me." And you're like, this is sad. Well, they both walk in, take their tops off basically. You see their breasts bouncing up and down and all sorts. And then they rip them to shreds. That's right, they rip them to shreds. Well, and there's a bit where they're touching them where the djinn goes like this. Ooh, ooh, and you're like, so then Diana Collins, played by G. Cook, she basically sees the visions like the other two did in the previous films. And there goes the story of what happens. He basically tries to play a little bit of, cat and mouse with her and kills her friends off because she's very persistent about not doing the wishes. And there's a bit where he's in class and he writes on the wall, "Djinn." And they go, "We're not on them." And he gets very offended. So basically there's some good effects in it where people get killed. And but it's overall it's a really badly acted movie. And you just sit there going, come on, it's got to get better. It's got to get better. And that's when Greg dies and St. Michael, the Archangel, takes him over and runs with a sword like, woo! Right? And you're like, wow, he's one of God's angels. He's going to do what's right. He's going to be able to save the day because he's going to have God's power behind him and God's going to help him get rid of the evil that is the djinn. Well, that would be good. But for the whole movie, St. Michael says, St. Michael says, "I don't think we can beat the djinn. The djinn is powerful. I don't think we can do it. You're just a woman." And you're like, hold on, he's an angel, yet he's sexist. He's got no faith that he can fight evil. So you're sitting there going, hold on. So he's an archangel. He's got no faith that good can beat evil. And he's a sexist. And you just sit there going, which I think was a little bit weird. But anyway. So he has fights with the djinn a few times in the Professor Joel Barish costume thing. I just wanted him to be in his Jin outfit because I like the Jin. I like seeing the Jin. I didn't want to see Joel. I wanted to see the Jin. I didn't want to see Jason Connery. I wanted to see John Novak. I wanted to see the action. I wanted to see it, like, you know. So they're fighting. They're trying to get away, and people die, and people hide and die. And then they get to the end where he's got the sword. He's running around with the sword. And he goes to Diana, and he goes, I don't think you're powerful enough. And he puts it around, it goes on fire. She's like, whoa, yeah. And at the end, she tries to throw herself off a building, so she doesn't have to answer the wishes. Well, the Jinn now, he can go like the Flash from the comics, from DC Comics, and he can sprint towards her and grab hold of her like that, and like this. Oi! And I was sitting there going, wow. So he doesn't just answer wishes, he doesn't just Spanish, but he can run like the Flash as well. Yeah. But earlier that wasn't working. Even though he was running, there wasn't no colour in it. So I was just sitting there going, and they get stabbed, and basically the angel Michael says, thank you for helping. And then he gives her back Greg. Greg comes back to life. It's a thank you message. And that's the end of the film. What is eternal cannot die. But basically, this film is really badly acted. The only good thing about it is it's got some good special effects. It's got very hokey CGI. But then the other two did, to be honest. They didn't have the best CGI. So, well, with this one. I think the film really suffers because it doesn't have... I think this film really suffers because it doesn't have Andrew Divoff in it, who not only was a fantastic Jin when he dressed up as him, but he was also great in human form because he looked menacing. He looked like he didn't care about the world, like I said in my previous review. And the guy in this, John Novak, as much as I like him as the Wishmaster, I don't like the character. I don't feel like he was brought on the screen as much, and he's just nowhere as good. He hasn't got that voice either that Andrew Divoff had. And to me, Andrew Divoff could have been a real Homer legend if he'd have carried on doing these. But he probably saw the script and went, So the movie, all in all, wasn't that good. Wasn't well acted. Was boring to a big degree. The St. Michael running around like a coward, like it just annoyed me because everybody knows St. Michael won't be running away from evil. That's what annoyed me. You know, he gets stabbed and he runs away from evil. And you're like, but the light of God is shining on St. Michael because he's one of God's archangels. So why would he even feel pain? Why would he be running from evil? Like, it's a bit where they're riding in a car. And the Jinn, at that time being the professor, you know, the professor would look. He looks down at him and St. Michael goes this. And you're like, what? So I kind of felt the movie was a bit ridiculous in that sense. The deaths, like I said, were all right. There were some good effects there. But I didn't care about any of the characters. I felt no relationship towards them. I didn't care. I found the movie extremely boring. And the character who played Jason Connery was just like, he was smug through the whole movie. And it was all right. It worked. But it just felt like some campy guy trying to play the bad villain. And it just didn't work. Andrew Divoff had the role down flat. It's like if you replaced Robert England, and they did. And what happened? It sucked. You know, they're going to do a Hellraiser and replace Doug Bradley. What's going to happen? It's probably going to suck because, you know, when you've got somebody who's done some roles like they have, if you change them, it's not the same movie because you don't get that feeling because you build a relationship with the characters. You know, especially Andrew Divoff as the Wishmaster. So all in all, I'd give this a 2 out of 5 because I highly didn't like it. I felt like it had no real story going on. And I felt like it was just a really, really bad film, and the story was ridiculous. So I give it 2 out of 5. And as usual, guys, thanks for watching. Have a lovely day and take care.